Sophie Cunningham's t-shirt became a marketing phenomenon. Sophie Cunningham currently plays for the Indiana Fever and has now become one of the most recognizable WNBA players. And for Barbie night, she pulled up wearing a shirt that said "Hot girls eat Arby's," and the internet lost.
In a league filled with incredible talent, one player has managed to flip the entire WNBA on its head without averaging double digits in scoring. She's not your typical basketball star, and that's exactly why everyone's talking about her. Meet Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever's secret weapon who's redefining what it means to be a star in women's basketball. She's bold, she's beautiful, she's unapologetically herself, and she's about to show you why presence matters more than points. When Sophie Cunningham first entered the WNBA, she was known for exactly one thing: pure, unfiltered grit. You could count on her to scrap for every rebound, dive headfirst for loose balls, and bring an edge that made opponents think twice.
I think that we have a really good group. We're still a tight-knit group. We're adding new players in that are amazing. O's been around the league for a long time, and I know you don't think so, but it's a blessing that you weren't on another team because we need you here. And so I just think it's an adjustment period.
She was the player coaches loved because she did the dirty work without complaint. Before we dive into how Sophie Cunningham flipped the entire WNBA on its head with nothing but pure swagger and a side of Arby's, drop a Sophie's World in the comments if you're here for this cultural takeover. And if this is your first time experiencing our deep dives into basketball's biggest personalities, smash that subscribe button, because this is the kind of sports storytelling that goes way beyond the box score. But something changed, something big. Over the past season, Sophie hasn't just evolved her game. She's undergone a complete metamorphosis. The muscles are leaner, the style is louder, and the confidence, you can feel it radiating from her before she even steps foot on the court.
Sophie, let's talk about those threes. You had 2 of them. Dantes just had 1. How big of a spark was that for this group?
Yeah, we got to get it going. We're just playing slow, playing a little bit sloppy. They're outworking us, and that's just not part of our DNA. So we got to pick it up on the defensive end and stay on our front foot on the offensive end.
Watch her walk through that tunnel now, and it's game over. She doesn't just move like a player anymore. She moves like a star. Every step is deliberate, every glance calculated. She doesn't just belong in the WNBA. She owns every single moment she's in it. This transformation isn't accidental. Sophie has worked relentlessly on her strength, tightened up her footwork, and crafted a frame that's both fierce and undeniably feminine. It's become impossible to discuss Indiana Fever basketball without mentioning the way Sophie commands attention when she enters any arena. But here's what's crucial to understand. This isn't about vanity. This is about presence. This is about the kind of magnetic energy that separates good players from unforgettable ones.
Great question. Yeah, I think when you're growing up, sometimes it's really hard, right? Sometimes you doubt yourself. Sometimes you lack confidence. But there's always a fire in you. And I think the biggest thing that everyone's always going to fail. And I think if you're not trying, or if you're not failing, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough.
Players can put up impressive numbers all day long, but Sophie's doing something far more powerful. She's becoming absolutely unforgettable. And that glow up, it's not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and it's fundamentally changing how people watch the game. When Sophie Cunningham steps onto that court, everything shifts. The energy changes. The crowd leans in. Even her opponents take notice. Here's the wild part about Sophie Cunningham. She isn't dropping 25 points every night, and she doesn't need to. Her numbers might hover around 5 points per game, a few rebounds, maybe a steal here and there. But those statistics tell you absolutely nothing about her real impact. When Sophie steps onto the floor, everything changes. The pace picks up, the communication gets sharper, the defense tightens. She plays like her job is to wake everyone else up, and that's exactly what happens.
But I drink a Celsius before every game. I drink 1 or 2 before and sometimes 1 at halftime.
Her teammates feed off her energy like it's electricity. Watch her movement. It's crisp, calculated, intelligent. Her spacing is smart. Her defensive rotations are textbook. And when she hits a three-pointer, it's almost always exactly when the team needs it most. She has an uncanny ability to show up in clutch moments. Physically, she's built like a Swiss Army knife. Compact power, strong shoulders, defined legs, and quick feet that allow her to switch onto guards or bang with bigger wings. That versatility doesn't always show up on stat sheets. But coaches see it, teammates rely on it, and fans absolutely feel it.
Played the old team. There was maybe a little bit of beef because of our last podcast.
You think this is becoming a rival?
Our teams don't really like each other anyway, just because of I don't know, just kind of like her leaving. Some of those players used to be under our coaching staff. And so there's just a lot there.
Her body language tells the entire story. Confident, sharp, explosive. She plays with clear intention behind every movement. She's not just occupying space on the court, she's controlling it. This is why Sophie matters more than her modest scoring average suggests. She's not padding statistics. She's changing momentum. She's the kind of player who can finish with 5 points and 2 steals and still be the most impactful athlete on the floor. Her game is about pressure, rhythm, and that infectious grit that elevates everyone around her. June 2024, Sophie Cunningham walked into the United Center wearing a tight white t-shirt that read, "Hot girls eat Arby's," paired with a short black miniskirt and knee-high boots. The WNBA hasn't been the same since.
Because she has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over "hot girls eat Arby's." Yeah. She was wearing this outfit, this arrangement into the Chicago Sky game.
Cameras flashed, social feeds exploded, and suddenly everyone, players, fans, influencers, celebrities, was talking about Sophie Cunningham. But here's the thing, this wasn't some random fashion moment. This was calculated brilliance. The shirt wasn't just a joke or a fashion statement. It was a legitimate brand deal. Arby's had seen a viral TikTok that Sophie made reviewing their food, and they jumped at the chance to partner with her. What started as authentic content became a marketing goldmine. That tunnel walk became more than just an outfit. It was a cultural reset. The photos flooded sports media everywhere. Her name trended across all social platforms, and within just 24 hours, that shirt was completely sold out on Arby's website. Small and large sizes disappeared first, proving the incredible reach of her influence.
But here's the real backstory. A few months earlier, Sophie posted a video rating Arby's. And that video is just her being authentic in herself. And that puppy went viral.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Arby's a solid 9 out of 10.
Then following this, the phrase "hot girls eat Arby's" started flying around. And it turns out that Arby's has been saying this since 2023.
People weren't just watching basketball anymore. They were watching Sophie's every move, analyzing her outfits, dissecting her social media posts. And why wouldn't they? She looked absolutely stunning. Her figure was front and center, confident, sexy, and completely in control of her narrative. This was more than a fashion win. This was a power move that sent a clear message to everyone watching. You can ball out on the court, dress up off the court, cash checks from sponsors, and look incredible doing all of it. That's exactly what modern stars do. While other players talk about growing the game, Sophie was actually doing it, one viral moment at a time, with a side of curly fries and the confidence to own every single second of it. If you haven't explored Sophie Cunningham's TikTok page, you're missing half the story of her rise to stardom. It's raw, it's chaotic, and it's absolutely brilliant in its authenticity. She's dancing in the locker room after wins, flexing in the gym during workouts, throwing shade at referees with perfectly timed side-eye glances, and laughing with teammates like she's starring in her own reality show. Her entire vibe is 100% unfiltered, and that's exactly why it works so effectively. Her follower count is climbing rapidly because she refuses to try to be anyone other than herself. She shows the goofy moments, the glamorous highlights, the sass, the sweat, all of it. It's incredibly rare to find a professional athlete who balances elite athleticism with the kind of humor and authentic presence that keeps fans engaged long after the final buzzer. This is where Sophie built her brand from the ground up, and the league can't afford to ignore it anymore. Clips of her getting ready in the locker room wearing crop tops, shooting fadeaway jumpers in full glam makeup, dancing in cowboy boots. This is how modern athletes go viral. This is how they build empires in the digital age. And here's the beautiful part. For Sophie, it's all completely natural. It's not some calculated social media strategy crafted by a team of consultants. It's just who she is as a person. That authenticity is her absolute superpower.
Of course, the Indiana Fever, I would like to say beat the brakes off the Sky, but really, it felt like they underachieved a good bit yesterday.
She's not desperately chasing clout like so many others. She's creating it organically, and people are loving every single second of the journey. Her comment sections are filled with fans who feel like they actually know her, not just her basketball persona. The WNBA handed Sophie Cunningham a $500 fine for a TikTok video she made, criticizing the officiating after a particularly frustrating game. She didn't yell or scream. She didn't call out specific referees by name. She simply let her sarcasm and well-timed editing do all the talking. The result? The video exploded to over 1.3 million views in just a matter of days. Just like that, what was supposed to be a punishment turned into a massive marketing victory and a statement about athlete authenticity. Fans flooded the comments with overwhelming support, tagging the league's official accounts, demanding changes to officiating standards, and praising Sophie for having the courage to speak out when others stayed silent. But here's what made Sophie's response so powerful. She didn't flinch. She didn't delete the post out of fear. She didn't issue some watered-down, corporate-approved statement. She let those views pile up and kept doing exactly what she'd been doing. That moment proved something much bigger about Sophie's character. She doesn't play scared, either on the court or off it. She plays bold, she speaks honestly, and she's willing to face the consequences of her authenticity. That $500 fine? Consider it an investment in authenticity that paid dividends. It made her more relatable to fans, more respected by peers, and significantly more followed across all platforms. While some players stay silent to protect their paychecks, Sophie speaks her mind and becomes more valuable every single time she does it. Every championship team needs a leader who isn't afraid to make noise when it matters most. For the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham is exactly that voice. She might not be starting every single game, but when she's on that sideline, she's standing up, clapping, shouting encouragement, and essentially coaching. She's consistently the player with the loudest, most infectious energy during warm-ups. She's the veteran who takes time to hype up nervous rookies, and the teammate who isn't afraid to challenge veteran players when necessary.
And so for me, I think when you put in the work and you're the hardest worker, sometimes it's ugly, right? But you just have to kind of stack the days. And I just think if you keep showing up and you keep working hard, good things are going to happen.
But it's not just noise for the sake of noise. It's meaningful, intelligent basketball communication. Her experience shows up in all the little details that casual fans might miss. She's calling out potential mismatches before they develop into problems. She's pulling teammates aside mid-possession to make quick adjustments. When someone's rattled or struggling, she's the first player to dive in with support and encouragement. You can feel her leadership presence even when she's not on the court. And here's the crucial part. Her teammates actually listen to her advice. Kelsey Mitchell respects her veteran wisdom. Caitlin Clark enjoys joking around with her. The entire locker room leans on her experience and emotional intelligence. Sophie runs that room without ever making anything about herself personally. She keeps the energy sharp, keeps the atmosphere fun and loose, and holds everyone accountable in the most savage yet supportive way possible. That's an incredibly rare combination in professional sports. She might not be the official face of the franchise, but she's absolutely the emotional fire behind everything good that happens. And when teams start to really click and find their championship rhythm, it's usually because someone like Sophie made it happen behind the scenes. June 17th, 2024, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark drives to the basket and gets poked directly in the eye under the rim. The entire arena gasps in concern. The whistle hasn't even blown yet to stop play. And suddenly, boom! Sophie Cunningham storms in from across the court and shoves Dijonai Carrington straight to the ground. No hesitation, pure protective instinct, immediate action. The referees call it a flagrant foul. Sophie gets ejected from the game without argument. But that single shove accomplished something that no amount of points on the scoreboard ever could have achieved. It completely unified the team. It drew a clear, unmistakable line in the sand for everyone watching. That moment told the entire league, you don't mess with Indiana, you don't mess with our star player, and you definitely don't mess with Sophie Cunningham's teammates. Fans online went absolutely wild with support. Caitlin Clark gave her an appreciative nod. The bench rallied around the statement she'd just made. In that single moment, Sophie became more than just a physical presence on the court. She became the emotional anchor, the protector, the player who would sacrifice her own game to defend her teammates. That shove wasn't about anger or losing control. It was about establishing culture, protecting family, and demanding respect.
But yeah, I could have been way meaner. She didn't listen to the whole clip. She just saw the thing about, like, she could have handled it more professional, which, like, honestly, everyone that's talked to me besides their team has, like, yeah, she could have. And so it's like, duh, but that seems just drama to me.
It was the kind of moment that lives forever in a team's DNA. Highlight reels will fade from memory, but that clip became legendary. And from that day forward, you could feel that Indiana wasn't just playing basketball anymore. They were fighting for each other, for respect, and for Sophie. Sophie's swagger has become so undeniable, so magnetic, that Jeannie Buss herself, co-owner of Women of Wrestling, made an official offer for Sophie to step into the wrestling ring. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just about a player having one hot season. This is about a woman who's fundamentally changing what it means to be a star in the WNBA. She's built like a machine, dresses like a fashion model, and talks like someone who owns every single room she walks into. Her presence is sharp and cutting. Her energy consistently outshines her statistical output. She's not here to blend into the background or play it safe. She's here to shift the entire culture of women's professional basketball. From viral TikTok videos to lucrative Arby's sponsorship deals, from controversial finds to quotable moments that trend nationally, Sophie is building a lane that simply didn't exist before her arrival. And as the WNBA searches desperately for its next generation of marketable crossover stars who can bring in new audiences, Sophie is showing them exactly how it should be done. She's not waiting around for someone to hand her the spotlight. She's wearing that spotlight, walking confidently in it, and making sure that every fan watching knows they're witnessing a full-blown cultural takeover in real time. This is what a modern athlete looks like in 2025 and beyond. Strong, stylish, savage, and completely unafraid to be herself. Sophie Cunningham represents the future of professional sports, where authenticity matters more than perfection, where personality drives popularity, and where being real trumps being safe. She's proven that you don't need to be the leading scorer to be the most compelling player. You don't need to avoid controversy to build a brand. You don't need to fit into someone else's mold to become a star. From the court to social media, from fashion to food partnerships, from team leadership to cultural commentary, Sophie has built something that transcends basketball. She's created a blueprint for the next generation of athletes who want to matter both during and after their playing careers. The WNBA is changing, evolving, and growing in ways that seemed impossible just a few years ago, and at the center of that transformation is a player who refused to stay in her lane, who chose authenticity over safety, and who proved that sometimes the most impactful thing you can do is simply be yourself. If you're not watching Sophie Cunningham right now, you're not just missing good basketball, you're missing the entire show. You're missing the future of sports entertainment, the evolution of athlete empowerment, and the rise of a star who's rewriting all the rules. Sophie Cunningham isn't just changing the game, she's rewriting the rules of what it means to be a modern athlete. What do you think? Is she the blueprint for the future of the WNBA? Drop your hottest takes in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're Team Sophie, and make sure you're subscribed for more stories about the players who are transforming sports culture. This has been your breakdown, and we'll catch you in the next one.